Hello friends. Today we have a brief retelling of the perpetrator. Final circumstances in underground gladiator fights to the delight of a sadistic guard. The film begins with protagonist Wade Porter jogging in the morning as the living embodiment of the vampire god Grave. After sports, he has breakfast with his wife and son. The next stage is a working day with his construction team. In the evening, he receives approval for a loan to expand his business. In South America, a dream come true. Often change drastically. Wakes up from the noise in the house, someone penetrates through the window into the nursery. With a baseball bat at the ready goes to the men in search of a visitor. Some Latin American of average Hispanic height appears. The thief tries to escape, but a well-aimed slap on the back of the head with sports equipment stops the Jew in the bud. While the offender is lying on the gas with the bloodied head of the wife of the uprising police. Upon the arrival of law enforcement officers, the lifeless body science promptly catches everything around. The situation is complicated when the Americans that the Raven was not attacked from his pocket he took out Wayne's honestly stolen wallet. Latin American police arrests cease to be arrests. Upon completion of the stage of arrest for theft and taken away into the night. In the department they lie at the base of the data, take a shower, issue a government uniform and populate with bluish acid poisoning. A law-abiding builder, against the background of mothers of lumpen and outcasts, somewhat reveals himself and unexpectedly receives a residence permit and black regulars. However, Wesley Snipes himself once learned to fight back black and really adequately resists until he intervenes in security. Transfer to the male, where they settle in a common cell. Neighbors take it easy. Wade gets a visit from his wife. She sees traces of a stern masculine greeting on her husband's face, but nothing can be done about it. He says he is an elected public advocate. There are no such incomes and there were no rich relatives in the pocket. The masses are revolting. To suppress unsanctioned rallies, a detachment of riot police of the armed forces is allocated with the latest technology, tear gas grenades, shields, and batons. The ideologist of the rebellion is John Smith, a seasoned convict, the face of an aged Batman, who hides forever behind bars. Gordon, the head of detention, goes with him on a particularly important mission, promising to build a transfer to another penitentiary institution. Wade's lawyer talks about a deal with the prosecutor if he agrees to involuntary destruction, and does not challenge the constitutional right to exercise an easy term of 3 years, during which he meets half the time. Considering that he has been marinating behind bars for 3 months now, there is only nothing left. An alternative trial by jury in a year, in which if they are not acquitted, it shines from 15 years to life. Having estimated what's what, the hero agrees to the deal. And now he is being taken in a special bus to places not so remote. On the way, the tattooed skin neighbor unobtrusively hints that it would be nice to join the Korean Brotherhood, but they are original to the fact that they sing in a frenzy with the guitar. The neighbor insists that you need to stand up for yourself and promises to cover up on occasion, but the hero does not have time to do anything. A riot begins in the cabin with the aim of executing one of the prisoners. When the deed is done, the killer passes the bloody shiv to Wade's neighbor. The plot switches to Lieutenant Jackson. He no longer yells an annoying wolf in the midst of the tropical jungle, but they bring the price to school, giving in the end a fatherly instruction to hit the bullying girl in the balls. With new tolerant mores, the chance that she has them is extremely high. Then he goes to work to serve and guard in prison where the bus with Wade arrives. The neighbor carefully handed over the murder weapons to him, telling him to say that he had found him under the seat. Jackson determines the killer in the isolation ward and puts the rest in the punishment cell, including the hero with a sharpening in his hands. Wade is interrogated but goes into denial. For this he is sent to the strict regime section where the neighbors will be motor criminals and misanthropes. The term of imprisonment is 111 days. Jackson accepts ex-military guard Collins. The director also reports that they are being transferred to the infamous John Smith, who organizes riots in every prison where he was imprisoned. Jackson doesn't need such a rock star. He wants to isolate this pseudo-Lenin, but the director tells him to treat the estimate the same way as the rest of the prisoners. Collins takes Wade out for a walk after carefully inspecting through the bars for prohibited items. The hero is released into a closed yard that looks like a concrete well in which prisoners roam like tattooed tadpoles. Here they have one-on-one fights while the guards place their bets. Only when the winner is known, the guard turns on the siren, on which the Zaki lie face down on the floor and the sparring partners receive rubber bullets. One of the Latin Americans challenges Jackson, who tells him to bring a brave man and arrange a fight with him in the interrogation room, defeating due to a surreptitious blow. The beaten one is led past the rest as a punishment for all. Wade visits her husband, who is searched at the entrance, stripped naked and probing her clothes for sewn-in contraband. The wife finds out that they threw him another 3 months on top, and she herself says that there is nothing to pay for the house. She has to take a stash to expand the business. John Smith soon arrives at the prison, put in a cell with Wade. From Jackson's welcoming speech, the hero learns that the new neighbor killed a dozen people, which characterizes him from a certain point of view. However, Smith behaves moderately restrained and tactfully without showing aggression towards a cellmate. They are taken out for a walk together. In Smith's yard, although not everyone knows, the leaders respect him. Followed by a couple of skinheads, an old acquaintance of Wade's from the bus. It represents fellow heroes. In the cell, Smith is curious about the neighbor's family, noticing a photo of his wife and son, after which the conversation turns to gangs. The veteran explains to the prison tourist how everything works here. National minorities are in conflict with each other, but everyone hates the whites who go under the Aryans. While walking, Wade is attacked by Latinos. He manages to win the fight, but Jackson shoots his opponent in the leg as punishment for attacking a female colleague, after which he reprimands Collins. He began to shoot on his orders with combat. Later, the director discusses with Jackson what is happening in the prison, fearing that the arbitrariness of the guards may become public, but the lieutenant reassures him. On day 231, Wade receives a visit from his family. He goes out to them and shaved bald. Of course, the spouse is of hot Mexican blood. This alignment is not very smiling. Wade trains and participates in gladiator fights. He even flies rubber bullets in the chest and more often with each victory. Soon he has a conflict with skinheads. They beat him in a crowd in a blind zone where the guards do not reach with shots. Suddenly John Smith intervenes. He scatters the crowd as in the distant past when he patrolled the night streets of the city in a latex bat suit. Jackson meets Collins at the supermarket with his wife and strikes up a good neighborly conversation. But the subordinate does not like mixing work and personal life too much, although he does not talk about it. Taking Wade for a walk, he cheers him up, but the prisoner does not appreciate care. In the courtyard of the skinhead they are already waiting for him, but suddenly the leader of the killer from the bus stands up for Wade, who did not hand him over during interrogation. The tattooed skin that passed the knife to the exit is beaten and the floor is shoved in the face with sharpening. The guards run to break up the fight, and Collins runs into the complexities of local relationships. During the weekend during a children's baseball game, Jackson discusses a working moment with a colleague. He does not want to adhere to the prescriptions of the rules that do not work very well within the framework of the current penitentiary system. Meanwhile, between this and Smith, friendly relations are slowly being established in the course of regular conversations. Smith even reveals why he killed so many people in revenge for his own family. On the next date between the spouses, a quarrel arose on a nervous basis. Wade tells Smith about this, but Smith is advised not to dwell on it. When another criminal is let into the yard for a fight, the hero refuses to obey the rules of the guards. He simply dodges attacks and repels the opponent. Jackson doesn't like it very much. He fires rubber bullets at the mind and knocks him out with a punch to the jaw. After, the guard has a conversation with a shy Skin. He is ready to hand over his accomplices if he is provided with protection. Next, Jackson visits him in the detention center, torturing him with electric shocks and intimidating him with a new term for complicity in the murder of Crone. 427 days. Skinhead leader found guilty of killing Crone. Wade goes to accomplices, for which he will be charged another 6 years in total. After that, the wife, under pressure from her own mother, leaves him. The rage of resentment gives him the strength to continue to fight in battles for the amusement of the guards. Jackson, seeing that he was broken, even stopped putting him in a punishment cell. However, the guard's own family affairs are not in order. His son is hit by a drunk driver, a recidivist. When the boy is taken away for surgery, Jackson visits him in the ward where they threaten him with terrible revenge. Wade sees how a black man was brought to the prison who had a tooth on him from the first day of detention. Later, his wife visits him. Collins, out of the goodness of his heart, gives them more time to date. The woman says that she will wait for him, which inspires the heroes. In cell, Smith is advised to talk about Jackson's lawlessness in order to knock off an illegal term. Wade offers Jackson a show if he gives a chance to get even with black bullies. Tormented by anger because of his son, Jackson decides that the fight will be to the death. Only one will leave the yard alive. Wife at this time is visiting Gordon Smith's friend, the director of his former prison. Term of imprisonment, 457 days. Wade goes up against a thug who has several tattoos in the form of black tears. Memory of those who were killed. At the same time, an inspector is going to the prison to pick up films with evidence of the organization of the fights before the guards erase them. Wade goes out into the yard where the disassembly immediately begins. The fight is not in his favor. The opponent is bigger, stronger, and better trained. Smith deliberately breaks his glasses. In one of the arms is hidden a blade like a scalpel. The guards, seeing the advantage of one fighter, want to stop the fight, but Jackson forbids it. Wade manages to use a secret Koshchai's death attack and overwhelm the enemy by twisting his balls. He beats his counterpart until bloody snot hits his head on the asphalt, after which he puts his foot on the jaw but does not finish it off. He looks at Jackson. He shoots by combat. The hero does not move. He is blocked by a Smith. After, the rest of the prisoners, inspired by these two outrageous guards, stand in a row preventing Jackson from shooting. Prisoners are returned to their cells. Smith and Wade are the last to go, but they are driven back into the yard. Jackson and a colleague come out to them while a third guard covers from above. Unaware that Colin is watching him on the sly by turning on the recording on the security camera, Jackson pulls out a knife, which his accomplice does not like, but he does not mind, but leaves under a plausible pretext. Jackson is going to finish off Wade by putting the blame on Smith, who will later be shot. But when he comes closer, the old man cuts a vein in his leg, receiving a bullet in the chest for this. And it turned out not enough, and Smith manages to cut the guard's throat, for which he is shot a second time. Wade is pressed against the wall with his hands up, waiting for a shot, but suddenly a siren sounds. Collins turned it on. The director wants to close the prison, but Wade's spouses, Gordon, and an FBI agent are already standing near the entrance, who is very interested in learning about the morals prevailing here. The director denies his involvement, but Gordon doesn't believe him. Wade has his sentence revoked for being an accessory to murder in exchange for testimony in the Jackson case, and is assigned as a protected federal witness. Talking with Gordon, who guarded Smith for 20 years and spent more time with him than with his family, Wade says that the cellmate left as he wanted without a broken system. In the finale, Collins leads the chrome-plated skin to the cell of the ringleader sentenced to life for the murder of this same skin. Wade, from sitting the original term, goes free where he is greeted by his wife and son. Smith's voiceover reads the last letter addressed to a neighbor and new friend. The film ends with the credits with statistics saying that in the flesh of freedom, as of 2008, more than 2 million prisoners every week, their number increases by 1,000th. Thanks for watching to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification so you don't miss more new videos.